and welcome along to Breed to Succeed. We've got a packed episode for you this time when we'll be revealing the secrets of a top bloodstock agent, what really happens in the private market, and we take a visit to stunning Newsells Park Stud, where in addition to breeding horses, they've started making wine. Why? We'll find out. The yearling season is well and truly here, and in Europe, Arcana hosted its chic August sale at Deauville. Ammo Racing are regulars in this segment, and they again struck for the top lot, a Night of Thunder filly by Blue Hen producer Prudenzia, the dam of 5 black-type horses, including Magic Wand. The Bay filly sold for €3 million to Alex Elliott, acting for Ammo. Second top lot honours went to a Wootton Basset colt, sold for €2.3 million to Coolmore's MV Magnia. Tattersall Somerville is becoming increasingly popular, and the one-day sale yielded co-top lots. Havana Grey's daughter out of Joseph Goya fetched a 160,000 guinea winning bid from Rabba Bloodstock, while the same price saw a Dark Angel colt sell to Phil Cunningham. The behemoth that is Keeneland September saw buyers coming from all over the world for the 4,600 strong catalogue. It was a familiar name at the top of the buyers column, however, Coolmore's MV Magnia combining with White Birch Stud and Winchell Thoroughbreds for a Gunrunner colt, knocked down to them for $3.3 million. Gunrunner was also responsible for one of the 2 second highest lots, trainer Wesley Ward going to $2.2 million. That same price was commanded by a Flightline filly, sold to LSU Stables. Well, it's not often that we do Breed to Succeed filming in the middle of London, so something a little bit different this time. Thanks to Charlie. Thanks for inviting us along. And tell us about you. How did you get started out, first of all, in the industry? Are you racing born and bred?
No, not racing born and bred at all. I grew up riding horses, did pony club, did everything in pony club from dressage to polo. And was brought up in Winchcombe, just outside Cheltenham, so loved going to the races there. And that's sort of where I got the love for horse racing. Managed to negotiate some work experience with a guy called Alistair Donald, who is based in Newbury and not far from Oxford Brookes, where I was at uni. So in my final year, I would go there quite regularly, sort of once a week, to go and help him in the office, and then I did some sales work with him. And then just by coincidence, and I guess you need some luck in life, I did the BHA grad scheme as soon as I finished Brookes, which was another great thing to do. And then as soon as I finished that, or maybe in the last 2 weeks, Luke Lillingston was advertising for someone to come and help him in his bloodstock agency. So I had a great connection there, and Alistair put me in touch with Luke and gave me a great reference, and that was 7 years ago. I'm still working with Luke now, and we got really lucky with horses like Quattroelle. So we bought her after she finished second in a Leopardstown Maiden, and then she went on to win a Group 2 and get Group 1 placed, and sold for a lot of money to the Japanese for breeding.
And so what percentage of your business is overseas? Pretty much?
For me personally, 95% of the horses I sell would go overseas at the moment. Primarily to America, I'm really focusing on America. I've had a lot of luck there, and have just, the trips that I spoke about have just built up a good rapport with a lot of trainers in America.
And then how does it work for you? How is your commission decided? Is it
so we would always try and make 5% in a deal. It's not always possible. I would always, in the first instance, try and earn 5% from the person I was buying the horse for, because that's who I'm acting for. But say they have a max budget and they can't pay a 5% commission as part of that, then you may go to the seller and explain that situation and see if anything can be worked out with them. Or if you're working with somebody in America, you may have to split a commission. We're about to watch a 3-year-old filly's 1 mile maiden at Naas. There's 20 runners, and this race is interesting for a number of reasons. Firstly, people in America like to buy horses that run a mile because most of their turf races are over a mile, and some of their dirt horses can be effective turf sprinters. There's 3 fillies in here that we'll be watching closely. So here there will be Glory, which is a Cotai Glory filly, a stallion who's got a good record in America. There Will Be Glory's very sort of handy on the lead. She's sitting about second. Aidan O'Brien's filly, which is rated 89, probably going to be sort of the yardstick in the race, is making the running. There Will Be Glory's a bit stuck on the rail there. She's going to struggle to get some luck in running, so she is going to have to sort of hopefully find a gap. Eleanor Kennedy's horse is about to come and win. She's a wealthy lady, that horse is unlikely to be viable. But you can see here that There Will Be Glory is finishing really quickly. So she's definitely interested.
A couple of weeks later in Newmarket, we caught up with Charlie for an update on the sale.
We initially spoke to the trainer and the owners were interested in selling. So she was based in Ireland with the Slattery, so Luke went to see her. But unfortunately she was quite a tall filly and there was aspects of her leg conformation which meant we weren't sure whether she would suit fast ground in America. The owners really liked the filly and the Slatteries liked the filly, so they weren't willing to sell her unless they were getting what they felt was a good price. So the balance of that meant that we just decided to move on to the next one. And then luckily, a couple of weeks later, another filly came up, a Sir Percy filly trained by John Murphy. She won at Goran really impressively. She'd previously run really well at Killarney behind a filly of Aidan O'Brien's, who's rated 90, only just beat her there at Killarney. And this filly, she's called Plaza Athenay, and she won really impressively at Goran. Plaza Athenay has been bought to go to Brendan Walsh. He's a trainer we've had a lot of luck with already. We've bought two for Brendan, a filly called Fuente of Ahuna, who won a listed race and was placed in 2 Group 2s in America, and then a filly called Expensive Queen, who won on debut at Keeneland and was then 4th in a Group 1. Being by Sir Percy, he's a stallion who's got a great record in America, and we managed to secure her a couple of weeks ago, and she's a lovely looking filly. She's tall with lots of scope and very correct, and luckily she passed the vet and she's due to fly to America next Saturday.
It's a little sad, but this month's award goes posthumously to Tepin, the superb winner of Royal Ascot's Queen Anne Stakes in 2016. Among 6 Group 1 successes, she sadly died as a 12-year-old, but not before producing the brilliant Delacroix, winner of the Coral Eclipse and Irish Champion Stakes. Her only other foal to race was Grateful, who also struck at the top level, winning the 2024 Prix Royale at Paris-Longchamp. Why do they ring a bell at Tattersalls? Quite simply, because they've always done it. The practice of ringing a bell to start each day began when the auction house first opened on Hyde Park Corner, London in 1766. It draws attention and brings bidders together for the start of the action. Newsells Park Stud might be known for excellence. In Bloodstock, they stand Nathaniel, Arlie, Without Parole, some of the best stallions around, but now they're diversifying into wine. Why? That's what we're here to find out.
I'm not the sort of person just to sit back and count pennies on a beach drinking pina coladas and stuff, and so I thought, let's roll the dice. I'd been a client here for about 4 years before the opportunity came along to buy the place. I was in final approach selling my software company in the legal industry. Wine has been something I've invested in and has become a sort of a hobby of mine over 30, 40 years. It's 1,200 acres, so we were doing due diligence on the land and the size of the stud, employment lawyers, bloodstock lawyers. And it suddenly dawned on us that we're sitting off the 1,200 acres, about 170 acres of south-facing chalk slopes, which is the perfect soil for making, growing grapes that go on to make sparkling wine, champagne. And it's all because of climate change. Right now in the Champagne region, which is just 2.5 hours southeast of Calais, so it's quite close to us, it's effectively too hot to make age-worthy champagne. So in some years you can still do it. By age-worthy, the champagne, from the likes of Krug or Dom Perignon, champagne that in 10, 20 years is still drinkable, it increases in value, etc. And England is now seen very much as the sort of new frontier of what is called cool climate viticulture. And you look at the summer we've just had, it's almost perfect. Yes, we've had a couple of iffy days. We had a late frost in May that impacted on some of the lower slopes. But if you look at these grapes here, you can see that we're dealing with, we're producing, this is Pinot Noir, incredible high quality fruit. And our aspiration is to ultimately make a quality of wine that's commensurate with the quality of our bloodstock.
It's always important to start with an end point, which is the finished product being served to a wine drinker, a wine consumer, whether it's at home or in a restaurant, and we sort of work back from there. So do we want a full-bodied, style of wine, Pinot Noir dominant perhaps? You might get those grapes a little bit riper, possibly add a little bit of complexity with some oak barrels. Or you could go for a Blanc de Blanc style, something a little bit leaner, a little bit racier, or everything in between, a combination of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. The single biggest winemaking decision is actually picking grapes. How ripe are they? Obviously they all have to be spotlessly clean, but the actual ripeness level will really determine the style and the potential of what a vineyard can do.
We're not looking to go mainstream with this. This is very much going to be about membership of our clubs. We have a wine club. We have launched various racing syndicates and more recently 2 Bloodstock syndicates. If you're a member of our Bloodstock syndicate, you immediately become a member of our wine club and you get your first 12 bottles free. We're creating a club which offers experiences. It's not just, come and taste some wine. Every quarter we'll have, in the spring, you come here and after canopies and tasting some of the wine, you get to see some of the beautiful foals that are being born. You get a stallion parade, you get to see the stallions. And you're all the time rubbing shoulders with other like-minded people who like wine and like horses. So we're branding our wines after our horses. So the Blanc de Blanc, which is 100% Chardonnay, is called Nathaniel. The classic cuvee, which is a blend of Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier and Chardonnay, is called Chastity, after our champion broodmare. She produced some 16 million guineas worth of bloodstock, including 3 that went for over 3 million each. And then, wait for it, the rosé is named after our mare that produced her first foal. It's called Ilang Ilang, went and won the Fillies Mile, and she's called Shambolic. It's quite an amusing name. For us, it's about the cross-pollination, as I call it, between what we already do, breeding some of the finest horses in the commercial arena, with that aspiration to make the finest sparkling wine.
That's it for Breed to Succeed this time, but join us again next month when we'll be taking a trip over to Ireland and beautiful Mount Coote Stud.